Hello everyone, it is your lady Miss Z. I wanted to come on here real quickly because I've been having people ask me about booking a reading concerning finding out their tribal information and getting closer to their heritage. And as I told you before in the my last video, if you want to and probably a lot of people missed it, and I know it's kind of confusing anyway, because normally I always put up like a little link or a standalone reading that you can book specifically for this type of reading, but I haven't done that this time because it just depends, because there are so many different tribes. I have a lot of tribes in here, but that doesn't necessarily mean I have all of them, okay? Because this is more so like in this deck, it more so is tailored to like West African tribes and Native American tribes. It can tell you if it's like you have a European ancestry or Asian or something like that. So it can be very brief within that. Okay, so I'm going to actually be adding on to this deck, but it specifically was made on the principle of, if you're wanting to find your tribe, well, you can, like I said, you can kind of be any race if you're asking, but if you were African American, you wanted to know, a lot of people have ancestry in the from West Africa. Get it together. From West Africa, a lot of people have ancestry there, so it's going to tell you like exactly which one that you will have ancestry with or you share ancestry with. And if it's Native American, then that too. That's why when you book, I want you to tell me what ethnicity that you identify as currently, and from there we'll see what comes out for you in the cards. Okay, but like I said, the reason why it's not a standalone reading is simply because if I did it like that and your tribe is not in this deck, then it'll be kind of like, you know, a wasted reading almost. So I would like for you to book it with a full reading or with the Ancestor Bone Casting. Now let me tell you my reasons. With the full reading, you will probably more than likely ask other questions other than just about your ancestry. And if you want to, that's fine. You can ask about your ancestry. What were they like? What did they do? All of that you can book at a full reading, and we just use cards. Okay. When you book the bone casting reading, I will use the cards and I will use bones, and that just kind of, because a lot of people ask about their ancestry with the bone readings, and I find that to be very successful just because it is already contributed to the ancestors and their messages to you. It already kind of tells you about your ancestors, whether they were shamans, whether they were this, whether they were that. So it's already kind of included in the bone reading. And on top of that, if you have any tribal information that wants to come up, it'll come up. So that's why those two work together perfectly. But if you don't want to book a bone reading, you can just book a regular card reading, and I can still do it, you know, regardless. And you can book a small reading and ask the question, but again, I wouldn't recommend that, just because if it doesn't necessarily give you a specific tribe, then, you know, like I said, it's like a wasted reading almost. Like you ask for one question, like, what is my tribe? And it might tell you, you know, your tribal information is not in this deck, because this deck, though it has a lot of information, it's still limited because there are like millions of tribes that you could be attached to. So I don't want you to book something and not get the information that you need. That's why if you book the other readings, you still can get information regardless. You know, if you book a full reading and you ask about this and you also ask a question about your life, well, if it doesn't give you information here, then you still get some other information. You get me? So that is why I recommend booking a full or a regular bone reading, but I won't, you know, limit you there. If you still book a small reading, that's fine, but I'm letting you know right now that it may or may not tell you. Okay, it's up to the ancestors, and it's up to, this is just a medium. So if it can't medium within this deck, I'm not going to force it. Okay, because I want you to get accurate information. So again, if you want to book a reading and you want to ask about your heritage, please make sure that you tell me what you currently identify as. So let's say I book a reading. I say, well, currently I identify as African American. I don't really know much about my information. I would like to know, is there any tribal information, or is there any thing relating to my heritage that I need to find out? And then maybe I ask another question about my ancestors, and I'll leave it at that. That is perfectly fine. Okay. So again, you can book a full reading. You can book a bone reading. If you book a small reading, I can't guarantee that you're going to get the information that you need. So just be prepared. Okay. So full reading or a bone reading is preferred, but it's not required. Okay, either way, I'll answer your question, and I will probably put this in the description box for people who don't see this video and are wondering how can they ask this question, because again, it's not a standalone reading just because this deck is very limited, so I don't want you to book a reading specifically for that, and I can't get you that information. And I've actually done readings without these cards, and it's been accurate, but like I said, I've been drawn to doing this because I want to be able to tell you if you're Cree, Indian, you know, things like that. So hopefully this helps out. But again, if you want to book a reading, DonnaDreams.com, and thank you and peace out.